This is class 163 on the Golden Doves. We're on page 91 on the bottom of the page. Welcome to Torah Andalus. This is a difficult class. So in the interest of the opposite of clickbait, do not listen to this class unless you're really ready to focus and looking for some tedious study. It would certainly be helpful if you have the book in front of you. So we were talking about how this new textual concept arose where you compose words. Usually we think of different ideas. How do I want to compose the words? Now here, since the halachot, the mishnayot particularly, were going to be transmitted by heart, there was a view to using less words, even if that would mean being less precise, right? Because it would be easier to remember by heart less words. So economy affects the vocabulary of halacha to the point of imprecision, right? So we would actually prefer to be less precise if that means using less words. In order to facilitate memorization, actually there's a footnote here which I want to take a look at. So it's footnote 21, and footnote 21 is in the back somewhere. I'm sorry, here it is. Footnote 21. Okay. Consider, for example, the Mishnah Shabbat 1.3. So the Mishnah Masachet Shabbat, chapter 1, Halacha Gimel, it says, ולא יקרא לאור הנר, באמת אמרו, החז"ל נואם איך הנתינוקות קוראים, אבל הוא לא יקרא כיוצא בו, לא יאכל הזב עם הזבה, מפני הרגל עבירה. So the Mishnah says it's forbidden for the zav to eat with the zava, mipnei hergel avera, because this could lead to a person making the avon of being with her. So we say no, do not eat with her when she is in the state of ziva, right? Now that's deceptive. Zava in Jewish law refers to a woman who has an emission that's extended beyond the normal 7-day period, and it would have been more proper to say lo yochal hazav ima nida mipnei hergel avera. Nida, and of course zava as well, right? So what is it to say lo yochal hazav ima zava? It's imprecise. So here's an example. It's easier to remember zav zava than zav nida, right? All right. So continuing in that footnote, using the zav zava instead of the more accurate zav nida, since this prohibition applies not only to the period of actual flow, zov dama, right, which is ziva, right, zava gedola, let's say, but to the whole period before habitual purification, nida. The student who neglected to observe this prohibition after the flow was misled by the term zava. Very interesting. It actually led to a misunderstanding of the halakha. There was a talmid that made that mistake. Okay, so you see, lack of precision, right? And yet, economy of words, and not just economy of words, but choosing words, groups of words that are easier to remember. I myself, when I study Mishnah by heart, I see this quite a lot. There's a Mishnah in Masechet Zevachim, Perek Aleph, Halacha Gimel. So the Mishnah says, HaPesach sheshechato shachrit be'arba asar shelo lishmo. Right? So it said HaPesach, Korban Pesach sheshechato. The previous times it didn't say sheshechato, it said shenishchat, right? In the previous Mishnayot, right? Or sheshechatan, but here it's sheshechato, so it's shenishchat. Why does it say sheshechato? Shin hayat of sheshechato, for me, I just noticed this is easier to remember because the previous word is shachrit. So Pesach sheshechato, shin hayat, shachrit, be'arba asar, right? You see that's another example. It's not less precise, but I see the way the words were placed together, composed together. My father is bringing cases which are actually where you have a lack of precision in the composition. Going back to the main text, in order to facilitate memorization, the variation in vocabulary is minimized, right? So zav zava, less vocabulary. Or shachrit, shechato, shach, shachrit, right? Same idea. If a term already Right, there's Masechet Zevachim Perek Aleph Halacha Gimel. Okay. If a term already used could be used again with approximation, it was preferred over a term that could express the same thought with precision. That's amazing. To illustrate this point, let us examine the Mishnah Pesachim Perek Bet Halacha Bet. It comprises two statements. In the first statement, it declares that one is forbidden to draw any benefit, hana'ah, from the chametz, leavened bread of a Jew after Passover. Let me read the appropriate halacha, right? But basically, chametz she'avar alav Pesach, asur behana'ah, right? A simple law. I'm opening up the Mishnah. Chametz shel nochri she'avar alav Pesach. No, mutar be'ana, right? So if it's a goy, it's mutar be'ana. If it's a Jew, it's asur be'ana. So again, I'm going to read the Mishnah correctly. Chametz shel nochri she'avar alav Pesach mutar be'ana. V'shel Yisrael, but if it belongs to a Jew, asur be'ana. Right, simple enough. So again, it declares that one is forbidden to draw any benefit from the chametz of a Jew. In the second statement, it declares that one may draw benefit from the chametz of a Gentile. Right? So chametz shel nochri she'avar alav Pesach mutar behana'ah. Right? Apparently the Girsa, there seems to be a difference in the Girsa, but it doesn't affect the point here. Right? So we say that a chametz of a goy is allowed to enjoy benefit from it, even though it's chametz she'avar alav Pesach, it's chametz of a goy, right? So we're not going to be konsim. It may be eaten. In the second statement, it declares that one who may draw benefit from the chametz of a Gentile rather than simply stating it may be eaten. It should have said mutar be'achila. When you say something is mutar be'ana'ah, you're implying that it's only allowed b'hana, but not allowed b'achila. When you say something is mutar b'achila, obviously it's also mutar b'hana, because achila is a type of b'hana. Right? So it would appear, therefore, that the leavened bread of a Gentile may not be eaten after the holiday. It was the Mishnah, when it says, chametz shel nochri she'avar alav Pesach mutar b'hana, implying that it's asur b'achila, which is not the law. The Talmud, however, rejects such an inference and declares that one may actually eat the bread and not merely draw benefit from it, buy it, or sell it. That's very interesting. The Talmud explains that although the term benefit was used, Eden was intended, even though it said chametz shel nochri she'avar alav Pesach mutar be'hana'ah, it meant to say mutar be'achila. So why did it say mutar be'achila? The reason that the Mishnah did not actually say Eden is that in the first statement, the term benefit hana'ah was used, and the same term was employed in the second statement. Although it is permitted to be eaten, would have been more accurate. So you see how you want to use the same thing, hana'ah, mutar be'hana'ah, asur be'hana'ah, is easier to remember than mutar be'achila, asur be'hana'ah, right? Although it is, okay, the technical term aideh, you see that a lot in the Gemara. It says aideh, that we use this term, we're going to use that term as well, right? So this is the type of linguistic formulation. I'm just going to take a quick look at the footnotes and see if there's anything additional that we'd like to read in the footnotes. So this is footnote 22 and footnote 23. Okay, see Palestinian Talmud Pesachim, which explains that our Mishnah is referring to those places where it is customary not to eat bread baked by Gentiles. Very interesting. Different inference than Bavli. And then footnote number 23, this type of analysis is also applied by the rabbis to the text of Scripture. Okay, fine.